What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be looking at the mad scientists of the Decepticons. We're looking at Studio Series Shockwave. Let's jump into this. Alright, let's go ahead and get this guy unboxed and get a closer look at him. Alrighty, now that we have Shockwave out of his box, let's go take a closer look at what he comes with. Alrighty, so we get the figure himself in this resplendent purple, a miniature version of the character in his classic firearm mode. We get the instructions, and we get a piece of paper destined for the recycle bin. So, with this figure, I want to say the plastic quality feels great on him. This is a remold of the Siege Shockwave figure, removing a ton of the greebling that figure had, updating the purple color, and losing all that extra armor that he had when he was a leader class in the Siege wave. We get decent posability, so when we unplug the cable on here, the arm can do a full 360. They go out greater than a T. That's partially because of the transformation of this figure. We get a solid 90-degree bend at the elbow. Both elbows. Actually, I guess it's slightly greater than 90. Yeah. We get a good kick forward, good kick back, good kick all the way out to the side. We get an upper thigh swivel. We don't get a below the thigh swivel. We have ratcheted knees. And we have a slight ankle pivot. Now, we don't get much out of this just because of how the feet are designed. But this guy is still an extremely dynamic figure. So, not the biggest loss in my opinion. And this guy's extremely stable as well. So you can usually get him in a, there we go, a pretty solid pose with very minimal effort. One of the things I do want to call out here, and we will see a little bit more of this in vehicle mode, is he does have an extra tab on the front of him now. Let's get the knee out of the way so you see it. That is where he will actually be able to connect with the upcoming Age of the Primes, Bruticus. Though I don't think I'll have mine displayed with Bruticus, just for the sheer fact that I've got the core class from Legacy. It'll probably look much more show accurate with a tiny version of him in his hand versus a massive version on his shoulder. Let's go ahead and get this guy in his alt mode so we can see how he looks there. And here we have Studio Series Shockwave in his alternate mode. This is his space battleship mode, but all of us really know it's really the original laser mode, just with a slightly different perspective, if you will. Now, I actually want to bring something in here that's a bit of a throwback here. I'm going to stay up. Here, we'll go this way. So here, this is the Galactic Man variant of the original Shockwave figure. I do have an original Shockwave, but he's in the case, and I didn't feel like getting him out. This one I had readily available. So we can actually take a look to see how close this updated version looks to the original. And it is strikingly similar. The biggest difference is a much shorter handle on the new guy. But either way, figured you guys would enjoy this little blast from the past. And he does, in fact, still work with an original Radio Shack battery in there. So, yeah, there we go. See? Radio Shack Alright, back to the other figure. Now, in comparison to the Siege version of the figure, we do see a lot of change from that figure. We get a lot more of this lighter gray, both on the quote-unquote barrel of the gun, as well as the feet. And the rest is really this resplendent purple. I really do love this purple across the rest of the figure. But in this mode, he still feels solid. The plastic still feels great. And he's a darn easy transformation for just about anyone. So, I really enjoy this figure. I think the biggest thing I love about him the most is the purple. Like, I know that's a weird thing, and I've mentioned it quite a few times, but it's just a really good purple. Whereas the Siege version was a lot darker of a purple, almost had a tint too heavy of a blue in it, for my opinion. And that's essentially the same figure, but I just love the deco on this guy, because when I think Shockwave, I think a bit more of a aubergine-esque purple here, and I really enjoyed this. The pink hands, great call out to the original G1 toy, and adds a nice bit of breakup and color blocking to the figure, along with the nice lighter thighs and the gray backpack. Just like the Siege figure, he poses great, still has some of the same downfalls as that figure, but if you didn't get that figure, or you do have that figure but like one different deco, this is a good one to pick up. It really comes down to your preference on how many versions of the same figure do you want. Now, am I going to get rid of my Siege one? No. Similar to the Astro Train, the Siege version of Astro Train, even though I have the newer version now, I'm not parting without it anytime soon. However, while Siege Astro Train is going to go in storage, the Siege version of Shockwave is going to get a little 3D printed upgrade. I found a kit online, some 3D files, and I'm going to 3D print a Hearts of Steel armor for that figure. So stay tuned, because that video is coming up soon. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.